Hi guys, you're welcome to another YouTube video. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. So by now you should have drawn your bodice block, and then you're going to be needing a new measurement which I'll be showing very soon. You're going to be needing your under bust measurement, which is from that point where the neck and the shoulder meets to directly under your bust. So now from that same point on your pattern, which is the point where your neck and your shoulder meet, you're going to measure just the way I'm doing it onto the darts. Mark that measurement you just got down, mark it on the other leg of the darts, just like that, on both sides, and then take a 1/4 of an inch out on both sides of those points. So now from where I'm putting my tape down to where your points are, you're going to get in half of that and mark that on each side of the dart. So now I'm connecting that 2 points with my curve ruler, just very slightly. Please do the same thing, connect both the 2 points with your curve ruler. I'm going to be using the marker to show you, just like that. So the next thing is to get from that point to this point the measurement. So when you've gotten that, we're going to be marking that, putting our tape on the beginning of that point. We're going to be marking it all round to get your bust circumference. That point where I circled, so that's what I'm doing now, marking that measurement all the way around. So do the same thing for your own. Everybody will have their different ones by the time you put it on that point to the under bust mark. So that's what I'm doing, ruling out the entire circle to get my bust circumference. We won't be needing that shoulder dart, so that's why I crossed it out, and that's why I stopped the circumference beside each of the legs. And I want to remove 1 1/4 inch to tighten up the chest. You can move 1 1/2 to 2 inches from yours if you have a bigger bust. So I took 1 inch on my left and 1/4 inch on my right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm connecting it to that point, and then my other one is already touching that point because of that other line that's there. So now I'm just smoothing that into my armpit from that point. Just do the same on your own to create my new armhole. So now I want to get the length of my top. So I'm marking mine at 22 inches. You can make yours shorter, longer, but I advise shorter just because we'll be putting bone in so it doesn't make you uncomfortable. So I'm rolling that across at 22 inches. Probably reduce it later, I don't know, but for now I'm using 22 inches. So I marked 5 inches from the waistline to that point, and I'm going to connect it into a smooth curve to the center. That's what I'm doing. So just do the same on yours to create that V effect. Now I'm finding the center point from the dart to the center front, marking that point, and I'm just moving straight up. That will be the second point for my boning. I'm going to mark that on the fabric when I'm cutting. So that's what I'm highlighting with the marker. So now our pattern is almost ready. I'm just connecting that dart to the rest of the darts, just smoothly, just like that. So just do the same thing on your own. Smoothing the sharp points out. So now I'm rolling my neckline, just as you can see, connecting from the circle to the chest line. So now I'm just cutting it all off to separate all my pieces. Remember that point is useless. So I'm cutting everything off. Please guys, just cut it out, cut yours out exactly the way I'm cutting mine. Cutting the end, cutting the sides, cutting my new armhole, cutting out the darts from the center front, cutting out the down, and cutting out the neckline. So now I'm just marking out that point where the bust point is. I should have done that before I cut it, so please do yours before you cut it so you are very accurate. So now I'm going to be attaching a bit of paper to that front. Just as I'm doing, I'm going to be taking 1/4 of an inch out on that line. I'm doing this because I'm going to be putting bone in, so I need space for that. So please do the same thing on your own, 1/4, and then using a smooth curve, connect it to the beginning and then to where the circle ends, just under there, just like that. Just marking it out so you can see a quarter from that point, and then mark, connect up and connect down smoothly. That's what I'm doing, connecting the curve smoothly. So now I'm going to be cutting out, so just do your own like that. So I'm doing this because of the boning. I'm doing the same thing onto the center front. From that line I took a quarter out, I'm connecting it to the down, to the top, and then to the down with a smooth curve. Please, it should blend into the line. Yes, just like that. So now I'm going to be cutting that out, and our front pattern is ready. So now I'm going to be marking out 1 and 2. Onto the back, I'm taking my side front and using it to get the points on the back. Make sure the waistline is touching the waistline before you mark that point, and then mark the new armhole in the front. Now that I have that marked out, I'm smoothly connecting that to my previous armhole smoothly. So that's my new armhole. So now I want to get the length 22 inches. I'm marking that out, rolling that straight across. I'm going to be extending the dot line, just the middle line. And I'm going to be taking half an inch on either side of the dots at that point. I'm connecting that to the waistline smoothly. Then now I'm going to be checking my side to make sure everything is on the points. Remarking where my armhole starts from at the back, so it blends to the front. And I'm going to be connecting that with my curve roller smoothly onto the neck, onto the bust line at the back. So next thing, I'm extending my lines. So now because of that new curve at the top, you can see the dots are no longer equal. So I'm checking the point and then connecting that to the, blending that into the new neckline so that the two dots are equal. When I sew them, they'll meet at the same point. So now from that 5-inch point, I'm connecting smoothly to create my hemline. So now I'm going to cut everything now. So please just do your own, the way exactly the way I'm doing mine. That's what I'm doing, cutting out the new armhole. Just cutting out all the lines, cutting the down out, yes, cutting out my darts. And now our back is ready, so I'm marking that 1 and 2 up and down so I can know where that is. Back, front, and your pattern is ready. Next thing, we want to cut the band for the sleeve. So I'm just marking out a straight line. I'm going to be using 3 inches, so please just mark yours 3 inches for the width. So I'm rolling that straight across. Then I'm going to be marking out my arm round. Now I'm just marking my arm round measurements for my length. That's what I'm marking, just marking it out. I'm going to be connecting that with a straight line. So now I'm finding the middle point of that line, getting 1.5 inch on each side of these lines. I'm going to be using a smooth curve to connect, to create that U effect on the sleeve. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to be cutting that out. And the band for the arm is ready. I'm going to be writing that arm band. So now you fold that into 2. Take 1 inch out from the bottom and connect that to the top to have that curved, to have that angled effect when you're attaching it to your sleeve. So now I'm doing the cuff. I'm just creating my border line. I'm going to be using 3 inches for my cuff. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking 3 inches out and I'm pulling straight across. Then I'm marking out my my wrist round measurement. I'm going to be using 4 1/4. So that's what I just marked out, 4 1/4. So measure yours and mark that. Please, it should be free enough for your hand to pass through. So I'm trimming that out, cutting that out rather. So now I'm going to be labeling that my cuff and then my armband. So you can see my armband and you can see my cuff. Please guys, don't forget to watch part 2 of this tutorial. Until the next one, bye.